pitch after pitch, foul tip after foul tip. The beating you take on your hands, your knees, your arms, hey, you're going to get nicked up, I'll tell you that. But there are rewards. A catcher's a part strategist and part psychologist. A catcher knows his entire staff, what they like to do, when they like to do it, and I'm telling you, when you get that job done, you really feel good. And oh yes, I almost forgot, you should know how to hit too. I didn't say you have to hit, know how to hit. Tonight, you join us as we go behind the mask, revealing the life of a Major League catcher. And that's next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Well, Chase Field tonight is Catchers University, and class is in session. Catching 101. We go behind the mask. It's the San Francisco Giants. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks. Chris Snyder putting on those tools of ignorance, as they call them. As Joe said just a moment ago, so you want to be a catcher. Well, tonight, you'll get to think about it long and hard as we go behind the scenes on Fox Sports Arizona. Hello there, folks. The Hall of Famer and former big league catcher Joe Garagiola. My name is Darren Sutton, and what do we have here right out of the gates?
This is my glove. This is the last glove that I used, and I want to see these guys today catch one hand or catch the ball down this way. There was no webbing. Look at this webbing. I mean, it was bought when Walmart was closed.
So you're going to have to explain to us that you had to use two hands. I'd like to take a look at our Geico quote, Bob Feller in the Hall of Fame, talking about catchers. And you can see he says it very well, I think. If you believe your catcher is intelligent and you know that he has considerable experience, it is a good thing to leave the game almost entirely in his hands. That's Bob Feller. Now, with that thought, let's listen to Chris Snyder.
The better the pitcher is, the less he does himself. He puts it all on the catcher and go out. And if you go back, you hear the Kevin Costner, Tim Robbins, just grab the ball and throw it. Put down what I call and throw the ball. That's all you're out there to do. Trust me, if something, like I said, if something goes bad, I'm taking the blame. It's not your fault. I made the call. You're still perfect. You got to baby him a little bit.
All right, Joe, yes and no on that. In your mind, it's more of a suggestion to the pitcher.
It's always a suggestion to the pitcher. I'd like to have a conversation with Chris about that. If I ask for a curveball and I keep asking for it, finally the pitcher will say, all right, I'll throw it, and he'll flip up a curveball. It's not a curveball. Right. And when they tear out a row of seats, he'll say, well, that's what you wanted. You merely suggest. If you're on the same page, fine. If not, he's not going to be in there. And Bob Feller, with his stuff, he could throw a bowling ball up there and nobody's going to hit it.
Chris Snyder will be wearing a microphone tonight. We will be hearing his conversation with umpires, with his pitchers, as he goes to work. Joe and I, honored to have you with us tonight behind the mask on Fox Sports Arizona.
Gibson, he had his team earlier today working on some fundamentals, particularly pitchers fielding bunts. Well, it played into last night's loss. A couple of sack bunts that led to errors that led to unearned runs. Overall, 14 left on base, 3 errors in a sloppy game, so no wonder that Gibson was a little bit miffed. And he flipped the script on his post-game press conference. Take a listen.
You guys can stay right there. You guys go and talk to the team. They're all there waiting for you, and I'll be in my office after. You didn't make plays. And, you know, I like about a lot of this stuff, I hope that you ask the players. Okay, so, I mean, what more is there to say? And, you know, we'll come out tomorrow and we'll work on some of that. You know, you guys got to quit asking me about what I think about what they think. Okay, and that's just not fair. And I gave you the opportunity to talk to them, and you can ask them how they feel about it. Like, I don't know how they think. I really don't.
Well, the manager looking for accountability and a better effort. Tonight, our effort is behind the mask. Our catchers show. Chris Snyder will be mic'd up. Joe Garagiola, Darren Sutton, right here on Fox Sports Arizona. They'll call the game next.
To go, Chris Snyder as he catches Ian Patrick Kennedy, 25-year-old right-hander. Anytime we hear from Chris, we will be doing it in playback mode as we can make sure that we give it a listen before we share it with you. We are underway at Chase Field. It's a strike over the inside corner to Andres Torres, the right fielder. We'll give you the entire lineup for Bruce Bochy, former catcher, here in just a moment with the San Francisco Giants. Ian making his 20th start of the year as he fires a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to count. UPS Store delivers the numbers for Ian Kennedy. Know this, he has been a winner in his last 2 starts. Limited in both 86 and 93 pitches in beating the Mets and the Marlins. Fastball, that was easy enough. Strike 3.
He threw 2 strikes and 1 out of the strike zone and fed off the greed.
A very good 0-2 pitch. Quickly, Joe, and folks, let's take a look at the entire starting lineup for the San Francisco Giants. Renteria, then it's Huff. What a story he has been. Catcher Buster Posey, a rookie catcher batting cleanup. Juan Uribe, Pat Burrell is back in the Bay Area. Sandoval, Rowan, and Madison Bumgarner. Well, he is pounding that strike zone. All fastballs so far.
Well, it's like the other night when the Giant pitched. He was like a machine. Came. First pitch strike, second pitch strike. Pitching machine.
There's a changeup, and it stays in. Kane's fun to watch work, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, you like to play behind a guy like that. I mean, you watch him throw all those strikes, and you figure, hey, this guy doesn't need a rub down. He needs an oil change. He's a machine.
1-1 the count. Well, there you go. Hit his spot.
He's around the plate. That's the thing. You don't have to. You get strikes called, but you get hitters out on balls that are off the plate. Always been a believer in that.
Let's see if that holds true here with a 1-2 count. Hot shot, fair ball, and changeup. He didn't get it out because that was on the plate. I think that changeup, it's an interesting spot for that pitch. A changeup into a right-hander, though he left it out over the plate.
And what was the count?
1-2.
There you go. He was ahead of him. When you got him, when you're ahead of a guy, you want to step on the juggler, right down the middle. That's a mistake pitch.
And Mark Reynolds had no chance. I'll tell you, Edgar Renteria has very quietly had a solid career. I mean, here's a guy with now 2,224 hits. Active in the position. Only Derek Jeter and Omar Vizquel have more hits. Here's slugger Aubrey Huff. Curveball. First one he's thrown. 0-1 the count. He's playing right back into what you're talking about, Joe. You get your strikes called over the plate. 0-1.
First pitch strikes. Most important pitch in baseball.
He takes a look. Looks the runner back. So back when you caught, could you have imagined doing your job with a microphone on and everyone listening to every word you said?
No way. I would never do that. And I was a clean catcher. I mean, I didn't use those kind of words then.
0-2 the count. And yet you end up earning a wonderful living and having a Hall of Fame career with the microphone in your hand.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different story. I mean, you know, you do a game show, you ask how much does a refrigerator cost. You could train a chimpanzee to do that in 2 weeks.
0-2 the count. Huff has owned the Diamondbacks this year, 11 of 21. That one is inside. Pretty good pitch there, 0-2.
Pitch there, let them know that you can come inside. You're not afraid to come inside. You're not going to hit anybody, but you're going to move them off the plate.
We'll keep an eye on Snyder, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gave up a hit on 1 and 2 last time to Huff. Boy, nice job. No, it got by him. Thought he had it with him, and he didn't.
He didn't get the glove down in time. The big chew threw him off balance. Whoops, the wicket was open.
Two and 2 the count. That one a wild pitch. Diamondbacks pitching staff more wild pitches than any staff in baseball. The 2-2. Hit on the ground. And how big is that wild pitch? That wild pitch means a run. And San Francisco leads it 1-0. And for Huff, 58 RBIs this year. Well, the little things a catcher can do, Joe, in a game. The things that don't go in box scores are the things that maybe he isn't able to do. And that's an example right there.
Well,
a wild pitch.
No question about it. And if
Buster Posey, catcher, base hit right field. The hitting streak rolls on for the young man.
Started to say, if you're going to take credit for calling a good game and winning a complete game and all that, you have to take some of the credit for letting balls get through you. When you got a lot of wild pitches on your pitching staff, it isn't just one-sided.
Makes a lot of sense. And you take that responsibility as a catcher, don't you?
You have to. You have to. At least he had the glove down and was trying with 2 hands. Usually they give you that one-handed sweep.
Uribe, and the pitch a little bit low. 1-0 the count to Juan Uribe. By the way, for Posey, that is a 17-game hitting streak. And you go back to 1958, the Giants' longest hitting streaks by a rookie. Number 1, Willie McCovey. Number 2, Orlando Cepeda, and Buster Posey are tied now at 17. Changeup, 1-1.
Boy, you look at that Posey at first base, chewing bubble gum, got a baby face. He has to probably show ID to get in the ballpark.
I think you're right. We're going to hear from him, Joe, a couple of times. I look forward to your thoughts on what you hear from Buster Posey as well. He's tonight's catcher, so we go and get his perspective. And where he's different, Joe, well, I'll ask you, how old were you when you started catching?
You mean the Sandlines?
Was it the position you always played?
No, I was a first baseman. Yogi was an outfielder pitcher. That's a wild pitch.
Now that is, as you said, a true wild pitch as Posey moves up. 2 wild pitches in the inning. That one nowhere near.
The curveball is hard to block because it'll hit the ground and really carom opposite of where you think it's going to be. I mean, from a right-hand pitcher, if it hits in the vicinity of your right shoulder, it's going to break to the left and vice versa. And I'll say this for Snyder. He tried to block it with the big body that he's got, but it just didn't work.
It's interesting how a pitcher and his mentality can change. Ian, come out of the gates, blew away Torres, jumped ahead of Edgar Renteria, double, then the wild pitch, then the RBI, and he's not on the attack anymore. He's pitching tentative and nibbling again. 3-1 the count to Uribe. The reason I asked you earlier about that is Buster Posey did not catch at all until he was a sophomore in college. Both Montero and Snyder were catchers when they were 7, 8 years old. As soon as they needed a catcher, they played that position. So totally different perspectives.
Yep. Well,
That's a high strike.
Usually in the neighborhood team, I don't know about your neighborhood, but ours, the fat kid was the catcher, the left-handed thrower was the first baseman, the guy who couldn't play at all but owned the ball, he played right field. You had to put him in the game. And the biggest guy was the pitcher and probably batted fourth.
About the same. That one is fouled off. I'll do it again. 3-2 the count.
I was playing in a WPA league in St. Louis, and there was a bird dog scout. In those days, scouts had people working for them, said this kid's pretty good and all that. And he watched me. He's the one that changed me into a catcher. I'll get even with him.
Somehow I thought you'd say that. 3-2 with 2 outs. Posey a huge lead at second. That's low, ball 4. Let's listen to Buster Posey as he talks about once he decided to be a catcher, how it would affect his offense.
It's one of those things, and I think that goes back to when I first started catching. I made a commitment to myself that I wasn't going to let the toll that catching took on me mentally and physically affect my bat. I made a decision that I was going to treat each at bat the same no matter how I felt and grind it out. And honestly, I like the way I feel better catching than I do playing the field because I feel like I stay more loose.
Pat Burrell pops it up. Adam LaRoche gives it a look. Leaning. He's done it again. That's twice this week he's made that fine play. That's a big drop-off over that railing. Catchers can catch, but first baseman can catch too. And this isn't the show focusing on the first baseman, but you'll see that one again. partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Sanderson Ford, Arizona's largest Ford dealership. Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It is on. Look at this look, Joe, as Ian Kennedy warms up.
Boy, on television, that looks like a fastball, doesn't it?
It's a great perspective. The Diamondbacks, we want to thank them for the accessibility that they have shown us and will continue to show us throughout this game and all the time. And as Joe mentioned, and giving his perspective as a player, it's not something players are used to doing, as Posey frames it up from Bumgarner. And it's 1-0.
I was surprised when Posey said he likes the catches that keep him loose. What it does, you're nicked up all the time. You got a foul tip in the chest. You got hands are hit. Look at that mask now. That's a hockey goalie mask.
That's a hot shot. And he is skating around as Young. The goalie had no chance to make a play on that one. It was taken away from him and shot into left field. Chris Young with a double. 21 doubles on the year. Let's take a look at the entire lineup quickly for the Diamondbacks. Southwest Airlines tells us that it's Young, it's Kelly Johnson, who hit for the cycle last night. On down at the bottom, it's Drew Gillespie and Ian Kennedy. And congratulations to Kelly. You were here last night, saw you sitting up there up above. What a night he had.
Oh, and hit the ball hard. Nothing fluky about it.
16 home runs, 49 RBIs. What a huge month of July he is having. 0-1 the count to Kelly. Bouncing ball. Just gave himself up. Moves that runner over to third. So you hit for a cycle. Then you ground out to move a runner to third. Good little ball. Defensively quickly. Burrell, Rowan, Torres, Sandoval, Renteria, Uribe, and Hub. Buster Posey is our catcher. And high fives all around.
Darren, I hope that most of the people saw that quick interview in the pregame with Gibson. And he said to the writers, I don't know what the guys are thinking. Go in and you talk to them. They'll tell you what they're thinking. I just don't know. I love that. I mean, he is much. The hidden meaning there is I'm the manager. I run it, but I don't do their thinking. If they want to think for me to think for them, then I'll take their paycheck.
Perfectly said. It's not my job to counsel them all the time and get inside their heads.
You're not a babysitter.
Justin Upton drives it to right field. Young's going to have to head back to tag. Now the throw to the plate.
Young thought it was a base hit, and he knows it. That ball was hit so hard, and he ran up the line, and he had to go back, and that's what they're talking about now, guarantee you. Ball was hit hard. Now you see him going back, and he was going to score, but now he knows it's too late.
So a very tough break for the Diamondbacks and an empty at bat there, even though it was scalded, as you said, by Justin Upton. He is on a similar role to that of Buster Posey. Mark Reynolds swings and pops it foul into the seats. It goes up in your section of seats. 0-1.
And to show who's the manager and who's running that clubhouse, look where Reynolds is batting. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say batting fourth with all those strikeouts. Forget the strikeouts. How many runs does he save with his glove? And he can pop that ball into the seats in one swing, puts you right in there.
That pitch is high. 1-1 the count. Quickly, he's 20 years old. Madison K. Bumgarner. His sixth major league start, 3-2 with a 2.41 ERA. The Giants' #1 pick in 2007 out of high school. As we mentioned, just 20 years old. No, I love the point you're making. And Kirk Gibson is making it more and more clear that in this opportunity, he is going to do it his way.
His way, and it's an old-fashioned way, and he knows that if you got one run more than the other guy when the game's over, you win. It's as simple as all that. Boy, he walked out of that clubhouse. He was steaming. There was smoke coming out of his ears.
1-2 the count.
No smoke now, guys.
Got him with a fastball in. Chris Young's leadoff double is stranded. Frustrating inning offensively.
Hope y'all get on. Now I'm going to go talk to Danny about trade rumors.
Oh, no, Chris. He came from Double-A. Barry Enright, right-handed pitcher. 4 really good starts in the big leagues right up from Mobile. Dan Carlson, his pitching coach, did a great job with him. I guess you'd better beware when not only, as you said, if you're wearing a microphone and you're the player, but everyone you talk to is getting picked up as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll stay away from him.
The 1-0 is a strike. 1-1 the count. I'll let you know. I like to take you folks behind the scenes sometimes. He did go talk to Nan Herron about trade rumors, and we do have it. And we may play it for you at some point if something happens. We're sitting on it right now. That's a ground ball, and it's a foul ball. 1-2 the count.
Kennedy looks to me now, as we look at Herron, looks to me now like he started the game. He started the game by striking out Torres on 3 pitches and then a couple wild pitches, and he got a little tentative and he was aiming the ball. Now he's back to throwing it. You can't throw and think at the same time. Just fire. That's it.
2-2 the count. I would imagine you knew your pitchers that were like this, though. Guys that had the aggression, like and then you get nicked around, have some mistakes, and then you become tentative.
Absolutely.
We got some help there. That was an ugly breaking ball up in the zone, but we know about Sandoval. His strike zone is from dirt to helmet.
He reminds you of the guy Atlanta had, Ralph Garr. You know, instead of hitting the pitch where it is, he hit it if it was thrown. If it stayed in the park, he swung at it. Manny Sanguillen was like that.
Boy, Ralph Garr, there's a good memory. Thinking about Ralph Garr, he attacked.
Oh, as soon as that pitcher got his arm up here, he was half through the swing.
I guess most people now think about a modern-day player or one in this generation of Vlad Guerrero. He'll swing at just about everything and hit it hard.
And hit it. That's the thing. You know, it's like Yogi said when they say he was a bad ball hitter. He said, but I hit the ball. there's the answer. A lot of guys with bad ball swingers and are categorized as bad ball hitters.
1-1 the count to Aaron Rowan. So then give us the perspective on Roberto Clemente. I would have loved to have watched him play.
I'll tell you about one clubhouse meeting I heard about as soon as we get a pitch. They said Clemente 1 foot off the ground was a single, both feet off the ground was an extra base hit. And that was pretty right. Because he got in that batter's box to do one thing, hit and help his team.
The 1-2. Good changeup. Well, that's interesting. Changeup down and in. I said earlier it was a dangerous pitch. That's what he threw to Renteria. Renteria doubled. He hit his spot there.
It was not over the plate. It was the inside part of the plate.
You're exactly right.
Big leaguers can hit a lot of mistakes.
I still think that's a gutsy pitch, though. An inside changeup to a right-handed hitter.
I rarely call changeup with 2 strikes.
The pitcher, Bumgarner, first pitch swinging, pops it up. Snyder fires that mask away. He isn't called off by Reynolds, and so he puts it to bed. Well, you said it. He looks like he's more comfortable and confident, and he is locked back in, 1-0. You go to make a play. Part of that equipment has to quickly get out of the way. Our Chaz Roberts cool play.
He does everything just perfect. Now he finds the ball right there. Now he's got the mask in his hand because once he's really got the beat on it, he throws it in an opposite direction and makes the play. Now he must have hollered right away because I'll tell you what, infielders usually run you off that play because it's easier for an infielder with the gloves they have than that big willy put that you got behind the plate.
And it would seem as if, and I'll ask you first of all, why do you fire that mask away so far?
Because you don't want to trip on it. It's the same way like putting on shin guards. I put shin guards on wrong the first time I put them on. I didn't know what to do. And I put the clips. We had clips at that time. They were on the inside part of my leg. And I ran and they caught and down I went. So to put shin guards on, outside the leg, dummy.
You could see those hooks on the outside instead of hooking on his pants
right
there. A piece now that they have that they rest on. They rest their backside on that. That's what, within a decade? That's somewhat new, that piece right there.
That's really going to protect your leg.
That one is driven right center field, but hanging up and able to make the play is the center fielder, Aaron Rowan. So LaRoche is erased. So it looks like not only does it protect the leg, save the knee a little bit, and make resting almost set up a bit of a seated situation.
Oh, I love that right there, yes.
That'll get you to the dance nice and rested and cool, and you have a good time there. Yeah. Could dance to the Wiggles.
Oh, could you now?
I don't know.
I like it.
Heard of the Wiggles?
I had never heard of them until I had children. Then I heard of them for about 5 straight years.
Well.
Then they grew out of them. Here is Chris Snyder, the catcher. In other words, you're saying that's a creature comfort that you weren't afforded. A knee saver, a pad back behind your leg.
I wanted it to go to high mass so I could rest. Didn't help me catch him. The shin guards were always moving anyhow, just like the chest protector would always drop down. You get hit in the Adam's apple, and the manager would come out and the trainer, are you hurt? How does it feel? How does it feel? How do you think it feels? It hurts.
And you brought your catcher's mitts with us, and I know we've taken some video of them, and over the next inning or so, a couple of innings, we have to get some explanation on what's what.
You explain it to me.
That one is away. Jody Jackson with a little bit more on that creature comfort that Joe was saying he was not afforded. Jody?
Well, he was certainly not afforded it, and neither was Bruce Bochy. And I talked to Bochy earlier today about managers that were former catchers. Obviously, he is one of those guys, and he said that's really the one thing, as simple as that looks. And I one of the equipment guys actually gave me one. It's a pretty simple piece of cushioning with a couple straps on it, but he really wished that he had had that later in his career, because his first year in professional baseball, he tore up his knee, and so he felt like that was one thing that later in his career he really could have used. But he talked a lot about the fact that the equipment obviously has changed so long. Obviously, Joe, you know that as well, and so many guys didn't even, helmets were not there. I mean, the protection is so much greater now, and catchers get creative. Whether it's thumb guards or the knee saver, really they have the leeway to use whatever makes them comfortable back there, because it is such an important job and such a tedious job, guys.
Tedious job? Come on, Jody.
That one is outside, 1-1.
More than tedious. I'll tell you another thing that is new is right there. I just missed it. That shoulder protection. Right there. A good shot of it right there. I'm going to tell you about that one because I was part of it. When I broke my collarbone, my shoulder, wanted some protection. They put a football pad there. And I said, you can't put that. That's like waving a red flag. Guy's going to go for that immediately. So they said, well, we can't do it on the left side. I said, you ought to do it. He said, never been done. So I had the 1934 bubblegum cards. And Benny Bengal had one of those chest protectors on with the protection on his shoulders. And I showed it to the guy. I said, in 1934, right after the Depression, they had them. And you can't make it? So they made it. I tried it. You know who started it? Again, Campanella.
Really?
Campy came up to me and said, what you got on? I said, I just wanted some protection. He said, I like that. So they made it for him. And, of course, Campy was hitting 310. I was hitting 109. And everybody went for it. But that's great to protect your shoulder like that.
The 2-2. High drive, center field, well struck, Rowan going back to the wall. He's got it. The Gold Glover with a fine play here at Chase Field. Interesting navigating. He navigates very nicely, thank you very much. Kind of a workmanlike center fielder, but very dependable.
He got a good jump on that ball. He's got a beat on it. He knows he's got a chance to make the play if he doesn't hit the wall. He realizes he had room. Center fielders, boy. They are special.
So here's Cole Gillespie. And as we mentioned, you're talking about their special. Rowan's a different kind of center fielder. The kind that will knock down a wall, and he plays a little bit more like Aaron Erstad did. There's not a glide and a grace to how he plays center field. But he's a Gold Glover.
There have been some great ones. Willie. Wow. Hope Willie's feeling better. He's having a little health problem. His eyes. Good guy.
Popped foul. We remind you quickly that anytime the Diamondbacks score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell gives away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the next day. Oregon State's Cole Gillespie. Oh, Gillespie's ground. All right. It was Jacksonville earlier. Now they're naming left field after Cole. Rolls that one foul.
But look at all the equipment guys wear now. Gloves, wristbands, shin guard protectors, or whatever you want to call those things.
Well, hitters wear them.
Yeah, everybody. If a guy doesn't wear gloves, he's really an exception to the rule. There they are.
The 1-2. Got underneath that one, lifts that one into shallow center field. Rowan is there. He makes all 3 putouts in the inning. Well, this young left-hander, 20-year-old Madison Bumgarner, is so far as solid as advertised.
You got to admit, for that conversation, you needed a diction teacher. He said he felt it. That's a case of a situation where I think Chris was trying to make a point or two, buttering him up a little bit. Get the chapstick out.
Which goes on, I'm told.
Constantly. Constantly.
We're constantly listening. We will bring you more pieces of conversations behind the scenes with Chris Snyder. Curveball, strike 1. The one thing that he and Kennedy did was get back on track. Though they were facing 7, 8, and 9, it was Sandoval, Rowan, and then the pitcher. On a backhand flip to the bag, and just in time, Chris Snyder agrees with you, Joe Garagiola, on the relationship with umpires. It's more ups than it is downs when you're communicating.
Well, you try to butter them up.
I've learned over the years that the more I keep them on my side and show respect to them, the more respect I'm given back. And not to say that it translates into getting calls off the plate or strikes that should have been balls, stuff like that. But it's one of those things that you avoid the confrontation. There's more conversation than confrontation.
And there you are. I don't know if I go along with all that.
Well, we need your perspective. That's why we have you here.
I mean, if you think a pitch is a strike and he calls it a ball, you're not going to say,
Mr. Umpire, I hardly disagree with you. That was not the way you interpreted that pitch. He goes, that was a strike. And he's going to say, you think that was a strike? You take one and I'll call it a strike.
Justin plays it on a hop. It's a base hit for Renteria. He has got 2 hits. So in other words, right back at you, young man.
That's right. They know what's going on. Umpires, they've been around. Even guys just coming up from the minor leagues. You just throw a line out there and hope that they hear it and react to it.
Mark Carlson well aware that Chris Snyder is wearing a microphone. We made sure that the umpires approved of it. Here's Aubrey Huff, and the pitch is low. 1-0 the count.
I remember Ed Bailey, who was a funny catcher. Ed Bailey was entertaining. Should have been a broadcaster. He really should have. Bucher was another guy. Okay? And Donatelli's behind the plate, and Bailey says,
bouncing ball finds a hole into right field. Renteria hustling to third. Throw, and not in time. Huff doesn't move up.
And Bailey says to him, it's great to be working the game with the second best umpire in the league. Donatelli, which is, I guess, an old joke. Donatelli said, second, who's in first? He said, the rest of the umpires. They have a sense of humor. Don't think they don't.
Oh, boy, I think you have to do this job.
Oh, man.
Here's Buster Posey. Posey with the runners on base in his brief time in the big leagues, hitting .392. And he takes a strike over the inside corner. 0-1 the count. Small town in Georgia, about an hour from where Stephen Drew grew up, Leesburg, Georgia. 50th round draft pick out of high school as a shortstop to Florida State. Made him a pitcher. Pitched for a little while as well as playing shortstop, then became a catcher his sophomore year.
And I still can't get over him saying he likes to catch because it keeps him loose. It'll keep you loose, all right. Get nicked with a few foul tips, you'll really be loose. And when's the last time you saw a young guy like this batting fourth?
I know. Amica Insurance, by the way, the pitches he sees, a lot of them away and down. You don't, do you?
No.
When you first arrived to the big leagues, he is hit, though, all the time. I mean, 8 home runs, 31 RBIs. He is 9 for 14 against the Diamondbacks alone. And you said it best. Looked like they'd ask for his ID to buy that chewing gum that he has in his mouth.
Looks too young. Obviously, he doesn't use a razor to shave. 2 hair on the right side and 4 on the left side, none in the middle.
A changeup and a good one. You like to say feet on the green. There's a prime example.
I'm telling you, you get a strike called, but to get a hitter out, you throw a pitch like that out of the zone.
Here's Juan Uribe. That is the first time the Diamondbacks have gotten him out with a runner in scoring position. He's 5 of 6 now against Arizona with runners in scoring position. Another changeup, 2 strikes, righty to righty.
Out of the strike zone.
Right. That one was out of the strike zone.
That was important.
Uribe, a get me over curveball for strike 1. So now getting back to being the catcher.
Clips going the outside. Attaboy, Buster.
Gives a lot of credit to Dave Righetti. Popped up to the right side, his pitching coach. Upton calling off Kelly Johnson. Justin puts that one away. Stranding a couple of runners out there. Now that was some pitching, getting that man out. Our special guest, certainly our analyst tonight, and former Major League catcher, your top catchers, Joe Garagiola. Please explain.
Well, Yogi, I wasn't objective at all. Johnny Bench, Campanella, and Del Crandall. But there are so many guys I could have named, I'm telling you. Jim Hegan was such a great-looking catcher. Bench ruined more catchers than anybody I ever saw with that one-handed catch because he had it to perfection, and he made it look so easy. Campanella, said it the other night, I'll say it again. He could catch an egg from 100 feet high and not crack the shell. And Crandall he was a blueprint for a catcher. My favorite catcher, though, was Ernie Lombardi.
Really? With the Reds?
That's right. You know why?
Why?
He did two things that I wished I could have done. One of them, when the umpire gave him a new ball to put in play, he put his hand back there, and he would rub it up with one hand. Didn't use two hands. And if he wanted to get a message to a pitcher, he caught the pitch barehanded and then threw it back. Barehanded. That got the message across. And then the other thing, which is rare, he used to put his catcher's mitt in his back pocket. Name me another catcher that could do that.
I can.
It was just two pieces of leather. His hands were so big. His fingers were, I'm telling you.
Young hits a high fly ball to right center field. Torres and Rowan get together. Aaron Rowan makes the play. That is two spectacular plays tonight by Aaron Rowan.
And he made them look pretty easy. He had the biggest hands I ever saw a guy have. Look at this. He found exactly where he was. You see him take that quick glance? That's a good center fielder that does that. Catching the ball, too, obviously. Big Lom. What a guy. He used to stretch triples into singles. Couldn't run.
You talk about the catcher's mitt. Obviously, he had big hands. I mean, the catcher's mitt you used, totally and completely different. Which one is that now?
That's the last one that I used. Look at the webbing. I mean, that's terrible, that webbing. And these are all just pitches you caught with two hands.
So, again, I think you make a key point that we don't want to let get too far. As the 1-0, as the strike 1-1. You caught with two hands.
You had to. You had to catch with two hands. You couldn't catch with one hand. Look at the webbing that he's got. You could sleep a family of 6 in that thing.
Breaking ball popped up. Huff calls him off. We'll continue this conversation. I think we might need to show you what he's talking about, catching with two hands. These kids don't have to today. Two hands, please demonstrate.
Well, first, I wanted to talk about that patch. I used that in the 46 World Series. I had to take it to a shoemaker to put it. There was a hole in there, okay? And you had to catch with two hands to hold the ball in there. You couldn't catch the ball down like you see the guys do now and try to steal a sign, or a pitch, rather. And the other thing is, when you made the tag, you covered the ball, and as you tagged, you split your hand. So if they knocked the glove off, you had the ball in your hand. You never really tagged him with it. But you constantly had to catch with two hands. And these guys today, most of them are like bullfighters. Ole. Ole.
So wait a minute. I can't let you get too far away. You're holding the baseball in your right hand there. How many fingers did you have broken on that right hand?
Well,
every one of them?
Let me count how many fingers I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. I still can't bend my thumb. This one makes me look like I'm hitchhiking, and these three just come along for the ride. You shake hands with the catcher, and it's like grabbing a sack full of peanuts, for crying out loud. And, you know, you heard about gnarled fingers. These guys don't have gnarled fingers. He's got a first baseman's mitt.
Catching with two hands. So you had both hands in play at all times as that changeup is low.
Now, see, he caught that with one hand. You couldn't catch that ball one hand with the glove that I got. Look where his meat hand is. What you had to do was keep your thumb behind your fingers and nice and loose, so that if you got a foul tip, your fingers would close on your thumb and you wouldn't break it.
Look out in that dugout. Did that get one of the Giants? And this time it was very, very close.
Might have got somebody. Hope not. Hey, you come up that runway, boy, you don't know what's coming through there.
You can see Pat Burrell concerned. Chris Snyder. That one went like a laser beam into that dugout. While Carlson will clean off home plate.
Crowd knows that ball was hit very hard, how quiet they've gotten. Baseball fans are very understanding.
The 2-2. Pops it up right side. LaRoche and Kennedy, and it's the pitcher that says, I've got it, I got it. You won't see that happen very much.
Nope. See that in high school a lot. Somebody will talk to him about it. And the last line will be, let the sure man catch it. Stay out of the way.
I'm told it may be a member of the Giants coaching staff. Let's hope he's all right in there. They're making sure he's all right as they check on him. As soon as we find out, we'll let you know. There wasn't much time to think on that line foul, was there, Joe?
No, there wasn't. I tell you, boy, that takes the wind out of your sails. They're working on him. He was coming up the steps. He didn't see the ball at all.
0-1 to count on Pablo Sandoval. Well-located fastball, 0-2.
Pablo's good to watch. He talks to himself a lot, uses the gloves, walks out in front of the plate, loosens up, takes a swing. He's a hacker, man. He comes to the ballpark to hit.
The 0-2. Got him with a fastball. He does come to hit. Kirk Gibson praising him before the game today. But on the attack, Ian Kennedy. That was a strike. He went right after him there.
It was after the two wild pitches that he kind of lowered the bar. Got right back up there, though.
You said it perfectly. Lowered the bar, and I think he goes through that sometimes. I mean, this is his 32nd Major League start, so it's not as if he's a seasoned veteran.
It takes a while.
Top of the fourth, Rowan takes a slider, a high slider.
You come to the big league, but that doesn't make you a big league player.
The 1-0. Change up on 1-0. 1-1 the count.
Outside the two wild pitches that he got, he's really been around the plate.
He trails it 1-0. Aubrey Huff with a ground out. RBI back in the first inning. Just got a piece of that one, fouled it off. Tried to check his swing. 1-2.
How high is that pine tar supposed to go up the bat?
Isn't it right to the trademark? And it's supposed to be shy of the trademark, actually.
He's not shy of the trademark.
No, he's not shy at all.
He's got the George Brett spread.
The 1-2 with 2 outs.
Now, if you want to get somebody mad as a catcher, what you say to the umpire is, check his bat. Look where he's got the pine tar.
The 2-2. And you'd do something like that, wouldn't you?
Sure I would. Why wouldn't I? He's not on my side.
It's gamesmanship. It's competition.
That's right. I get on his side, it's just like stealing pitches or stealing signs.
Nothing better than to have any opposing player thinking about things other than the task at hand. Like changeups like that one. Boy, Rowan, he just struck out the last 2. Good stuff the last 3 innings. Ian Kennedy. 1-0 is the score. Eugenio Velez down there in the dugout. We have found out they're tending to him. We don't know exactly where it got him, what's going on, and we just hope he's all right. Certainly thoughts and prayers down there with the versatile, energetic utility player for the Giants, Eugenio Velez, hit by that foul ball as they continue to tend to him inside that Giants dugout.
Everybody concerned. Bochy walking over there.
That one is fouled off. 0-1 the count to Justin Upton.
Boy, I tell you, I get almost a nightmare feeling. The old Pittsburgh ballpark, the steps were right behind home plate, and they didn't have a top over the screen. Guy coming up the steps, foul ball went down, hit him right here, knocked him down about 10 steps.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Justin Upton drives it into the gap in left center field. Look at him run. So, double number 20 for Jay Up, and the hitting streak rages on for Upton.
His swing is just absolutely dead perfect. I mean, you know, they say, well, he sees the ball so good now. He's in the zone, no question about it. The young man has tremendous talent.
That's an 11-game hitting streak, and in that 11-game hitting streak, Justin has 18 hits. So here is Mark Reynolds. He takes strike one. I don't know. I'm not buying the bunt. You?
No. No way he's going to bunt. Looking to do what Upton did. Oh, what a pitch.
Our Fulton Homes reminder, every time a D-back hits a homer this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Arizona Youth Assistance Foundation. To the Youth Assistance Foundation. The 0-2. Got him to chase up and in. What a polished young pitcher this man is for a 20-year-old. He's putting it just about exactly where he wants to.
Even if he hits that ball, he may get it back to the pitcher. It was such a great pitch. High and tight, good fastball. He spotted it well.
Amica Insurance talking about the hits for Adam LaRoche. Pitch him down the middle or away. And that's where his hot zones are. And as he takes a look, looks him back. I would imagine, and we don't account for this, probably should, that it's different lefties and righties facing it. It just speaks to zones, and now time is called.
He couldn't get together on the signs, and you saw Posey stand up and wiggle those fingers and start over again. One's a fastball, two's a curve, three's a changeup. Throw a strike.
They worked together in the minor leagues together, and they are known as number 1 and number 2. And if you say, well, what do you mean, pitcher, catcher? No. There's your number 1 prospects in the Giants organization. There's your number 2. Those are the top 2 prospects for the Giants. They're now here in the major leagues.
I'll tell you, if they get that Lincecum straightened out, they got some pitching staff to throw at you.
He's on the mound tomorrow.
Thing about Posey, he doesn't drop many pitches. His pitchers never look wild. When the catcher catches the ball, your pitcher never looks wild.
He said when he decided that he was to be a catcher, he threw himself at the position. Breaking ball, that's a pretty pitch. 1-2 the count. He said, art, mind, body, and soul. I read about it. I watched video. I drilled and drilled and drilled. He said, I realized I was starting at scratch, and that's a pretty low spot as a sophomore in Division I college baseball. The 1-2. Breaking ball, got it. Posey loves the switch that he made in college, loves the position, and he explains why.
I enjoy being involved in each play. I enjoy the thinking aspect of it, working with the pitchers, how each pitcher's different. And just there's not much better feeling when you get on the same page with a guy. When you get in the groove and you're almost in each other's head and you're in the batter's head. You kind of know what they're thinking. It's fun. It's fun. It's like a chess match, I guess.
That explains it pretty well, Darren. You suggest to the pitcher what you'd like for him to throw. He has to throw the pitch he has the most confidence in. And if you're on the same page, he doesn't shake you off. He sees the sign. He said, that's what I want to throw. And here we go.
Breaking ball is high. 2-0 the count.
No pitch ever comes as a surprise to a pitcher, as far as I'm concerned. He has to know what you're thinking.
It's funny when you listen to Posey, and I mean this respectfully, not at all with cynicism. You can hear in his voice the newness of the position, if that makes sense. Like you were talking about, feeling energized and ready to go. Not the Knicks and the old school catcher. You hear an enthusiasm about it.
Exactly. He doesn't take it for granted.
The 2-1. And that's not to say Miguel Montero or Chris Snyder do, but they've done it since they were in first, second grade. They've been beat up back there for a lot more years than Buster Posey. That's why I think it's a fun juxtaposition tonight as we researched and learned about Buster and then sat and talked with him. Same position, same assignment, totally different backgrounds. That one is high. That's ball 4. Our AT&T trivia question. Name the 3 catchers to win league batting titles. 1 is active. One of your guys, one of your favorite catchers is on that list.
Ernie Lombardi. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh. And he had to hit it. He never ran it.
Well, and of course, the man who, in my opinion, in 2006, should have been the most valuable player in the American League, Joe Mauer.
Oh, yeah.
That leaves us with 1, folks. We'll leave it for you to guess. If that one is away. 1-0 the count.
I should know. Good chance to name some of my friends who didn't get a chance. Clayton Errol Dalrymple, catcher. Love that name.
It's a great name. There's a lot to that name.
Oh, yeah. He could go to a horse show. He could go to a ball. I'm Clayton Errol Dalrymple.
By the way, that's a guess in the truck, guys. Is he right?
No. You had to ask that, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, a year-long and successful career in television, many times hosting a game show. You've heard those buzzers before.
A lot.
We are going to keep it right here. As we told you, Chris Snyder wearing a microphone tonight, so we've been following him around all evening long. Behind the mat.
I love the way you lie song in. Did we call you up from AA? Yeah. Really?
I haven't gone AAA.
How are you not in AAA? I could have sworn you were in Reno this year.
Good talk, guys. I hope y'all get on. Now I'm going to go talk to Danny about trade rumors. 6 in the morning.
I got Aubrey Huff, dude. That guy's just sneaky, nasty. Yeah.
All right, baby, here we go. Right, come on now. Yep. They sure are jingly. I have a microphone on.
Do you enjoy catching?
Yeah, I do.
Your favorite thing in the world?
Next to knitting and playing the clarinet. When I was in 8th grade, I was all-region orchestra for the trumpet. Yeah. We are headed east, Philly, New York. Yeah. I think we lucked out, too. The high I saw was like 87. Bro, what's up, brother? Good, man. Have a good one. Felt it.
The journey with the catcher, starting in batting practice.
First of all, I had one question. I don't know who the player was that answered. Do you like catching? What's he going to say?
I think that was one of our young clubhouse staffers.
I got to admit that was not scintillating television. The show wouldn't run 13 weeks.
Really?
No.
It wouldn't run? No?
No.
No big sponsorship from...
No, unless his father owned the candy store and sponsored it. Then it makes a difference.
Which has happened before in
Oh,
television.
a lot. But that was... The conversation was not, as they call, scintillating.
Here's Baumgartner. Well, you know, reality TV as it is these days, you couldn't sell that show.
Yeah, but when they tell him to go out there and talk to the players, he's working in his mind trying to work up a script. Let it fly. Let it go. I mean, all of a sudden they want to change the words, you know. He executed the double play to perfection. He made the double play is what he did.
1-1 the count. I'm told part of it, there is a little bit of that going on, and it might play better on HBO or cable later at night.
That conversation?
No, some of the others that didn't make air.
Oh, that kind of
There's
shit.
a little more ballpark talk on it, if you will.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, now, ball players get a bad rap with that. That's not true. They don't only talk about
No, I'm just saying.
They talk
using language that may be, you know, a little bit rough on occasion. Which never happens.
Never happens. It's a mistake.
Uh-huh. That one is up and away. 3-2 the count. Baumgartner, 3 for 17. He's driven in a run. He's only struck out 5 times. Big swing, popped up over our heads. It's dropped down below.
He's got a nice name, Madison Baumgartner.
It's a great name.
Oh, man. Whatever happened to the Charlies and the Mikes and Sams?
I don't know.
They're gone. We've lost them.
Or Chips now. That's ball 4. Frustrating walk.
That's not good.
By the way, let's answer our trivia question.
Bubbles Hargrave.
Oh, Joe, it popped into his head.
No, they just told me.
The 3 catchers
Nice,
to win.
thanks, guys. Bubbles Hargrave.
There it is. 1926.
It was the year I was born.
Who is Bubbles Hargrave, you may be asking? That's what he did in his career.
Look at that mask he's got on. A basketball could fit between those 2 bars.
I guess, let alone a baseball then.
Oh, yeah. Take a look at it. Eugene Franklin. Brother Pinky was a catcher.
Boy, you talk about names right there. Pinky and Bubbles. Couple of big league catchers.
He could hit them.
That one is popped foul. Like the catcher, Baby Doll Jacobson. There's another catcher's name. See, to me, you guys, Joe, that went to work behind the plate, two-handed catching, you can call yourselves anything you want.
Well, if we didn't, the fans would. But catchers, I think, they have the best sense of humor. They have to have. If they're themselves. If they want to be somebody else, that's different.
2-1 the count. That man has a great sense of humor. And I give him a lot of credit. He does it in his second language. Self-taught English language speaker. Joe and I will talk with him here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, up the ladder. Base hit. Big pitcher out front hoofing it. Flannery picks him up right away. Stops him at third. There's that guy again, Andres Torres, having a fabulous year for these Giants. At 32, is playing like a kid again for the first time in his career. One, it started with a walk to the pitcher.
Base on balls is like getting a gift certificate at Christmas time. Seems to always get cashed in, man.
He picked up his lead runner out there, didn't he, his pitcher?
Yes, sir.
Torres battled it around for about a half decade. Didn't do much of anything but be a fifth outfielder. Now they talk about him as one of the most important players this season. Bouncing ball. There's your RBI. He thought about coming home with it. I don't think Steven had a play. You may see it differently, Joe. Renteria, that is his 16th RBI of the year.
Well, if he'd have been playing in, yes, but you don't play him in in the ball game. Nobody out, one out now. And look where they're playing. He's playing deep now. The ball's right at him. It wasn't hit that hard. It was hit fairly sharp. And watch, he takes a good look. He wants to come to the plate. No, he's going to make sure and get the out. It's a 2-run lead that they have, so, I mean, far from out of it.
Aubrey Huff. This is the other man. I mean, when you talk about the Giants and you go back a half decade, it's Barry, Barry, and Barry. And that's all that was talked about. Now fast forward to modern day Giants baseball. It's Tim Lincecum, it's Aubrey Huff, and it's guys like Andres Torres. That's how they're in the race this year. A different sort of Giants team. That one is to right field. Pitched him in. He ran that fastball, and Torres puts his head down and heads to third base. 2 outs. Follow Fox Sports Arizona's coverage of D-backs baseball on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Droid with MLB.com at Bat 2010. It features play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. That means radio, by the way. Visit dbacks.com on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Droid, or BlackBerry for more details.
I remember the Giants when they had teams that nothing but home run hitters. Walker Cooper, Sid Gordon. I mean, I forget what year they hit a couple hundred home runs, it seemed like.
How much were they helped by the Polo Grounds?
Oh, if you could pull the ball.
Right, you had to pull it.
Oh, you read right down the line. You saw some scrawny home runs.
I'll tell you what, this young man is special. Buster Posey with his second hit. We mentioned he's now 5 of 6 with runners in scoring position. You can make it 6 of 7. And he doesn't try to do too much, Joe. It's to the right side. It's back up the middle. He's not trying to, as you say, pull one and hit a homer.
No, he just used the middle of the field, which is the Rogers Hornsby type thinking, you know. Hit it back to the pitcher. If he doesn't get it, it's a base hit because there's nobody there. If you're early, you're going to pull it, and if you're late, you're going to hit it to right field. Easy for him to say. Uribe can hit. Be careful.
To me, he is the epitome of a mistake hitter, too. And when he decides he's going, he is going after it. Backing up is Stephen Drew. Behind the mask tonight, Chris Snyder. Mic'd up. Chris, you're in the starting lineup. You've got a big assignment. Let's listen to what happened earlier.
The off catcher, all they were supposed to do is do an interview in like the 5th inning. So I was just coming to the park, getting ready for my interview in the 5th.
Joe, you want to ask the first question to Miggy? Hey, Miggy.
Hey, how
I
you
got
doing?
Joe up here. Say hello to Joe.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. How you doing? You took the chew out of your mouth, didn't you?
No, I didn't have one.
Yeah, you lie.
I'm
Go ahead,
I
Joe.
swear. Since the game started, I've been waiting just to this interview, and then I'll probably
All
get
right.
one.
Why do you always have to talk to the other players? You just a friendly guy?
I don't know. Am I? Yeah, I don't know. I just like to talk, man.
My question for you, Miguel, is during a game that you're not the starting catcher, how closely do you watch? How much do you talk with Chris Snyder? How much do you talk with the other pitchers?
Well, you know what? Most of the time, I'm just watching the game and try not to be in the middle of the conversation both. You know, the Snyder and the pitcher. And just let them do their job. And I don't know.
Miggy, this is Joe. Without giving me out any secrets, tell me about a clubhouse meeting with the pitcher or the pitching coach or whatever. What do? You go over the hitters.
Yeah.
Make something up.
Well, you know, I go over the hitters, and depends who's the hitter. You know, we just talk about, you know, how we're going to pitch him. Sometimes, you know, we pitch him.
So you're taking charge of the meeting?
I mean, the pitcher, like the starting pitcher and catcher, yeah, pretty much I take in charge.
Okay, thank you very much. Take charge and get rid of that chew.
Thank you, Miggy.
That's it.
Thank you.
Checks in the mail.
So 3-0 the score, and Miguel Montero a moment ago. It started with Joe's question, why are you so friendly down there to everyone?
I just like to talk, man.
My question for you, Miguel, is during a game that you're not the starting catcher, how closely do you watch? How much do you talk with Chris Snyder? How much do you talk with the other pitchers?
Well, you know what? Most of the time, I'm just watching the game and try not to be in the middle of the conversation both. You know, the Snyder and the pitcher. And just let them do their job. And I don't know.
Miggy, this is Joe. Without giving me out any secrets, tell me about a clubhouse meeting with the pitcher or the pitching coach or whatever. What do? You go over the hitters.
Yeah.
Make something up.
Well, you know, I go over the hitters, and it depends who's the hitter. You know, we just talk about, you know, how we're going to pitch him. Sometimes, you know, we pitch him.
So you're taking charge of the meeting?
I mean, the pitcher, like the starting pitcher and catcher, yeah, pretty much I take in charge.
Okay, thank you very much. Take charge and get rid of that chew.
Thank you, Miggy. Good stuff, Joe.
You were a pitcher.
Yes.
What kind of meetings did you have?
Went over scouting reports, talked about physically the pitchers that were
Who
working
did?
best.
Was it you?
Pitching coach, catcher, and the pitcher.
Who did most of the talking?
I'd say the pitching coach.
Pitching coach.
But again, I'm talking, that's minor league baseball. That's not the big leagues.
Well, in the big leagues, I mean, I played with clubs where guys would say, I'm going to pitch this guy high, I'm going to pitch this guy low, I'm going to throw my fastball, and blah, blah, whatever he was going to say. But I didn't like that because some guys had outstanding fastball, other guys didn't. I liked it when they said, we're going to stack the defense to left field, he's going to pull the ball. That's my job to make him hit that way and protect yourself that way.
So Kennedy goes down on strikes, 2 outs after the line out or the fly out by Cole Gillespie. So to simplify it to me as I listen to you, you are using a pitcher's strength, not the hitter's weakness.
Exactly. You got to use his strength. You know, you say, make sure he hits it to right field, make sure he hits it to left field or whatever. I mean, scouting reports are good, but they're taken from guys in the stands. If you've never seen a guy, you can go with that.
That makes sense. Yeah, minor leagues is different. I mean, it's more about developing and getting you to think the game through. You're really in the minor leagues more about working on what you're supposed to be working on. For me, they were just working on getting me out of their organization at that point.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad idea at all. 1-1 to count to Chris Young. You really? Okay, well, we'll help you pack. I mean, good luck to you. And hope that broadcasting thing works out. The 1-1. Bouncing ball to the hole. It's a base hit for Young.
Yeah, he's on at first base. There's 2 outs. You're trailing by 3 runs. I would say he might start, maybe steal or try or give a big bluff to get something going. It's almost been like station to station. I get to second, I'm going to stop and get some gas. I'm going to go to third, get the oil change. Make something happen. He draws a throw. That's good.
Well, splitting his mind, if anything. This young man has been, in his 6 starts in the major league, so very good with runners on base. With no one on, opponents hit 283. With runners on, 145. Not supposed to be that way. I'll tell you, Joe, to take it a step further, this battery, the pitcher and the catcher, they buck all reason. You're not supposed to be a rookie catcher batting cleanup. You're not supposed to be a rookie pitcher unfazed when you get runners on base.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of baseball, the unpredictability of it. I mean, you know, if you said Babe Ruth was a good hitter, really? What a shocker.
I'm going to have to write that down, though.
He was a pretty
good. Forget a Roto-Rooter game, I might.
Well, you know, this fantasy baseball, it's all numbers. You don't win with numbers. You don't win with chemistry in the clubhouse. You win with the bat and the ball. Hit the ball with the bat. Too bad.
Kelly goes down on strikes. Hey, you have good chemistry if you win. Everyone loves one another when you're winning.
Right.
It is certainly a big trend in baseball. It's happened over the years numerous times, and I asked Bochy why that is the case. Why do former catchers make such great managers? He said, well, it makes the transition easier. And when you're catching, you see the field, you get the signs from the manager. You have to be mentally in the game every second of the game. You're really a manager on the field. And obviously here with the Diamondbacks guys, we've had Bob Brenly, Bob Melvin, A.J. Hinch. And so, Joe and Darren, your thoughts on why former catchers do make such terrific managers?
Well, Jody, my answer to that is he's in every pitch. I mean, you can look around and you can see what's happening. Take a look at the outfielders now. Left field, they're in the same spot all the time. The grass is worn. It's lighter around where he is. They'll maneuver their way. And they're worried about the next at-bat or how the pitcher got him out that time. The catcher's got to worry about what he's going to call, who's in the on-deck circle, the score. Every play he is involved. It's not just between him and the pitcher. He's got to look at the defense. Right now they're playing, the infield's playing him a shade to pull, the outfield's playing him straight away.
That one is lifted up and into the seats. My first couple of years as a broadcaster, I was with a rookie manager, and his name's Mike Scioscia.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He's been at it for a while now. I asked Kirk Gibson, I said, who's the best catcher you ever played with? He said, well, I'm partial to Lance because we came up together, Lance Parrish. And
yes.
He said, Lance could hit and Lance could throw. That one is pretty well struck into left field. Gillespie is back. But then Gibby went on to say, and this was just before the ball game tonight, he said the best catcher I ever played with was Mike Scioscia.
He was a grinder.
That's what he said.
I'll tell you what, he went out there and gave you everything he had, and when he blocked the plate, he was a human dead end. I mean, you just knew you were gonna have a collision.
And that's funny, Joe. Those are the things, and we're talking about a man who's now very respected as a manager in Mike. But that's what he kept talking about. He said Lance was an all-star. Lance could hit. Lance could win you a game. Lance batted cleanup. You know, he was our star offensive player. Mike wasn't. He batted down lower.
But he did the things that make ball clubs win. Not that Lance didn't.
No.
You can't hit fourth and be an all-star and all that. But he was a grinder. See, now I don't like what just happened there when Chris put his glove down on the ground. He wanted it low. That immediately tells the umpire, not going to be a strike, so don't worry about it. Just put it there. You know, Seaver, when he pitched, he never wanted the catcher to give him a signal. He threw where he was going to throw, and he used both shoulders. Now watch, see? That right there. Umpire doesn't have to worry about it. Now look where that pitch was. And he wanted it on the ground. Makes everybody look bad.
Fouls that one off. Wanted that pitch up.
I remember Seaver pitching the game to Fisk, and I went up to Fisk. I said, I got to tell you, that was the best caught game I ever saw. Because you didn't know where that ball was going to go once you gave the signal, which is a tough way to catch.
Absolutely. We don't see that at all, Joe.
Never.
So in other words, if he put down the one for fastball, Seaver wanted him right down the middle.
He wanted him to have the glove right down the middle, and he would pick the spot. Right shoulder, right shin guard, left shin guard. He wants it up.
Sandoval, high fly ball, pretty well struck. Into the corner goes Gillespie. He's got room, 2 outs. Quest high-speed internet, high-speed pitch. Madison getting 92 miles an hour. Ian reaching 93 miles an hour. Proud team partner of the Diamondbacks. As a young ball player's kid, about 15 years old, I had aspirations at that point of being a major leaguer. I had the good fortune of being in clubhouses and around the game because it was my father's occupation. Diving play. I'll share that story in a bit. What a play by Mark Reynolds. You can interrupt me anytime you want, Mark, with your glove. Read, react. email the booth, foxsportsarizona.com. Larry Schwab from Phoenix wants to know, this is a great question, folks, why aren't there many left-handed catchers, Joe?
Boy, I got to tell you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why there aren't. There's a left-handed catcher's mitt. I happen to think that a left-handed catcher would have the advantage. The right-hand pitcher's curveball comes right through his glove. He can block like everybody else. The bunt play is going to be easier for him. He's going to pick it up and just throw it. He's got a clear shot at third base with the left. I don't know. Baseball has many of those. I'm all for it. You've heard about my campaign with smokeless tobacco. This is my second campaign. We need left-handed catchers.
Wow. That is a stunning response. I love that.
I mean, there's no
maybe. It makes all the sense in the world.
It does. I mean, the last guy that I remember catching was Dale Long.
Bouncing ball to short. Renteria erases Justin Upton. How about that graphic, by the way? 9 total games caught since 1920 by left-handed catchers. All of them were losses.
Yeah, but look how many games they caught. Dale Long, 2. Chris Short, 1. Chisholm, 1. Mike Squires, 1982. Benny DiStefano, he should have caught more than 3 games with a name like that. I think the manager was brutal. He was watching too much The Godfather. It's all right, Benny.
That one is driven. Well struck right field. Did Mark get it? Deep right. Gone. Goes swimming.
And listen to the crowd.
That's a Paul Mahomes homer, $150 to the Youth Assistance Foundation.
Right into the water.
I love recalling Reynolds exploding onto the scene. Love to see him hit the ball that way because he has got that kind of power that way.
Yes, he does.
And few hitters do. I mean, we I think, overlook it sometimes.
And that ball wasn't belt high. It was down low, the outside part of the plate. He went with it. And I got to make a confession. I was in the clubhouse. He was sitting in his locker. I went over and said, Mark, you're going through a tough time, but you're a big league player. He said, I'm going to keep trying, I'll tell you that. I said, that's all we ask. They forget about the defensive plays that kid makes, and now he hits a home run like this. I said, he's going to hit 25, 30 home runs. And he's a good kid. I mean, I wish they'd get off the strikeout kick. He made a defensive play that a lot of guys would not have made. Hits the big home run, and now, oh yeah, he's on his way. Still learning.
One and two, the count. Yeah, he is talent level. It's interesting because the explosive talent level, and as you say, with more explosion is more volatility. That's a young Kirk Gibson. I mean, that's the exact same player that a young Kirk Gibson was.
When you look at him, he's in scoring position when he walks into the batter's box. How many guys can you say that about?
Goes down on strikes, the talented young right-hander. Want to take a look at, well, it's a great feature at the ballpark. Out at section 111, it's Kachinko, and it's brought to you by our good friends with Gila River Casino. It's the interactive kiosk near section 111 here at Shea. It's just the 5th home run allowed this year by the young left-hander in his 6th start. Madison is 20 years old. He will be 21 years old here in about a week, August 1st.
This ring that I'm wearing is twice as old as him.
The ring itself?
The ring itself. I'm 3 times older than he is. 20 years old.
Snyder pops it up into right field. Long run. Shearholz just came on. We showed you a moment ago. Mark Reynolds with his 23rd home run of the year, 62 RBIs. His 5th long ball this month. And he makes it a ball game. Hey, Southwest Airlines, grab your bag. It is on Quest High-Speed Internet. Blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. Valley Hyundai dealers, time for the 7th inning stretch. Your dollars. Hyundai, now the most fuel-efficient car maker in America. Visit valleyhyundaidealers.com. Glad to have you back at the ballpark. Kennedy ready to roll as he faces his mound mate Madison Bumgarner. Longest outing since June 20th at Detroit as he works here in the 7th. In that game, he went 6 2/3, allowed 3 runs against the Tigers.
He looks like if he gets a hit, it's not going to be a surprise to him. He takes a pretty nice cut.
He's a big drink of water, I'll tell you that. That's what you're talking about. High fly into left center field, and the play is made. Well, Arizona again looking to roll out another start in which they get a starting pitcher to go 7 or more innings and give up 3 runs or less. Should win those games. Most of them.
Absolutely.
They're below 500 in that situation.
You know, you never get over it, but you always watch umpires, even as a fan. Notice how Mark Carlson works inside the hitter. He doesn't work directly behind the catcher. See him inside the left-hand hitter?
What does that mean for his strike zone?
I think it would be trying to see the pitch on the outside corner. Left-hand hitter that's up there right now would be the first base corner of the plate. Right-hand hitter the opposite. It's the National League way. American League, they used to use that big balloon protector and it would be right behind.
Three and 0 the count.
And he gets a good look at that pitch. You can see that he was right on that pitch. They put their eyes about level with the top of the strike zone, most umpires. See his head right at the top of that strike zone.
The 3-1. 3 and 2 the count. I'm looking at Carlson there as you're talking about him. You know, a lot of guys will wear either a helmet, a skull helmet, or a cap underneath. He just puts that mask on with the padding. There's no.
Hey, ball-headed guys are tough.
That's exactly right. There's nothing going on there.
I mean, nothing up there to protect.
Now when it's popped up. Demel, the right-hander. Norberto, the left-hander. The man on the mound has thrown 94 pitches.
He's pitched well.
Bouncing ball. You know, we talk about these catchers as LaRoche goes to the bag. Do they take it personal when the pitcher gives up a big hit? You wake up in the middle of the night thinking about calling a different pitch. Chris Snyder does. Let's listen.
Throughout the year, I still remember pitches from years ago, 2007 in the playoffs. I remember pitches I've called that could have gone another way if I would have called a different pitch, or if I would have made the one trip to the mound and discussed even for 5 seconds, if I would have done something like that, how things would have turned out. Oh yeah, you remember stuff like that.
Does that surprise you? You and I talked about that before the game.
Yeah, it surprises me a bit. It really does. See, I'd always talk to the pitcher about it. In the World Series, I remember Paulette shook me off 4 different times. And after the 3rd time, I had a signal with the manager to come out and help me. And Paulette wanted to throw a curveball, and he gave his reasons, and I gave my reasons. So I wanted a fastball. The hitter was Tommy, utility guy. At any rate, Dyer said, let him throw the curveball if that's what he's got confidence in. And he did. And he hit a 19 hopper to the infield. Well, you can't help that. But it just shows you can't have nightmares over pitches that you call if you're on the same page. And if you argue about it on the mound like we did a little bit, well, the manager makes a decision. So be it. Sun's coming up tomorrow anyhow.
Or as Gibby says, Sparky Anderson tells him, the game goes on, Babe Ruth's in the ground.
That's right.
A quote from Kirk Gibson, from Sparky Anderson.
Sparky had beauties, I'll tell you. Sparky always said that every day somebody's on top of the world, but sun goes around, he's on the bottom.
Well, I think Sparky's protege is going to make a move.
Kennedy should get a nice hand. He did a good job.
There you go, 6 2/3 to give up 3. That's a game you hope you win at some point, and hopefully that happens tonight.
I have to know who gets ready fast, who needs a little bit more time, their routines. I pretty much have every starter and every reliever's routine down pat. It's like how many pitches they throw, getting ready, what they throw, what side of the plate they throw it on, and it's just part of knowing every individual and how they get ready and what's necessary for them to get ready. And if they call down, they say you need to be ready for the next hitter, I got to get the ball back to them as fast as I can so they get as many throws in.
Two's doing a lot of blue-collar hard work, the thankless job of being the bullpen catcher, which leads me to think going back a few decades, Joe, when you played. As Aubrey Huff digs in and faces Jordan Norberto. Was there, per se, a bullpen catcher?
No.
That's what I thought you'd say. Explain how that worked. The backup catcher went down
to the bullpen, and you warmed up the guy. And usually the bullpen guy was a guy that was trying to pitch himself back into the rotation. No, there's so many changes. I mean, with the 46 Cardinals, for example, we had a third base coach, a first base coach, and a pitching coach. There were no bench coaches. Now you got hitting coaches, bench coaches, coaches.
Base hit into right field, Huff. Runners are on first and third. Heck, we even have like team psychologists now. Did you have that back in 46 with the Cardinals?
No, we had a lot of nutcases.
Okay. You know, I always have to be inquisitive.
No, psychologist? Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I know the EAPs are a club because I was involved with the tobacco.
Sure, absolutely.
But psychologist?
When we come back, Joe will share with us just how he feels right about now. Jody, Jackson, and you. Thanks for joining us and inviting us into your home on this Saturday night. Don't forget, the Diamondbacks are retiring Gonzo's number 20 on Saturday, August 7th during a pregame ceremony. To celebrate the event, the first 15,000 fans get a Luis Gonzalez bobblehead. It's courtesy of Chase. 602-462-4794. Log on to dbacks.com.
Hey, Gonzo's interesting to listen to. You guys work well together.
Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a nice job, I think.
Yes, he is. I think so, too.
And you can speak to that. You can speak to the early parts of your career when you first start getting behind that microphone.
Are you kidding? It's tough. It's not that easy.
Buster Posey. He finds you saying it's not that easy when you watch what he's done so far in his career.
Oh. Stands up there like a big leaguer. I'll say that for him.
Well, this Arizona bullpen has been much more respectable on this homestand. A bullpen that has worn a target on their backs all year long as that cut fastball runs away 1-1.
I like Demel's stance when he pitches from the stretch.
Like he's looking towards first base or someplace. I don't know where he's looking. Right there.
Well, that's a pretty good pitch. 2-1.
I didn't realize that Posey lifted his front leg as high as he did. Looked like he'd be almost a sucker for an off-speed pitch. He's really been hitting.
Fouls that one off. You were talking, Joe, about how you give and take with an umpire. Here's Snyder a moment ago.
A little bit off there. Thank you.
Are you serious? Thank you. I don't think I ever said that in all my time in the big leagues.
See, it's a kinder, gentler game now, Joe.
It has to be.
Fouled back to the screen.
I would have a little bit off. I would have said that was a strike. Well, how would you know a strike? No, you don't get that. That was very nice. Very how to win friends and influence people.
But since he asked, he thought it was a strike, correct?
Sure, he thought it was a strike, or he wouldn't have asked. But he wants that respect, and he got it, too. I'm learning something from this telecast, I'll tell you. I never worked a telecast like this before.
Where you could listen in?
Yeah, well, we never did. The first time it ever happened, I was the guy that started it. I'm going to say it that way, in Chicago. Lasorda. I had to get permission from the commissioner. I had to get permission from the Dodgers. I had to get permission from Waller Alston to put a microphone on Lasorda. And you know what did it? 3 balls and 1 strike. Ron Say's the hitter, and we got Lasorda on there, and he says, I hope he throws him a fastball and hit it out of here. Boom, he hits it out of here, and it went all over.
Well, of course it did. That one's low, ball 4.
And everybody started to try to do this thing. And the writers got all worked up, and they said, well, they got an advantage. I said, no, let the writers stand next to the coach and write down what he says. They can read it tomorrow.
Well, they can ask just like you asked.
Exactly. Oh, I tell you, that has really changed. Television has changed this game considerably. I mean, interview basketball coaches during the game, football coaches during the game. I guess it's good. I'm getting old. Oh, I'm not going to get lost in this thing, but it's some of the things. What's wrong with it? It's not bothering the game, is it?
No. That one is belted. That might bother the game if you're a Diamondbacks fan. That one over and out. He clears it. You were talking about Uribe earlier, Joe. A grand slam home run for Juan Uribe. Boy, and that'll change things in a heartbeat. 7-1 San Francisco.
He was walking out of the clubhouse when I was walking in, and I said to him, you really swing that bat. You can hit. He says, sometimes I like to hit. Boy, did he prove it tonight, huh?
Eli Whiteside, Matt Cain fired up. So Demmel touched up. And the bullpen struggles are back.
He's got an expression like it hurt him. Hurt the Diamondbacks, didn't hurt you.
Chase is up, 1-1 the count. You know, too, Eugenio Velez earlier hit by a foul ball, a line drive. We're not sure of his status. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. That could distract a team. That could distract the whole bench.
Absolutely. And that's not just your bench, both benches.
I agree.
All ball players, you know, when it comes to an injury, they sympathize.
again, if we do know something, we'll let you know. We just hope he's okay. One and two the count. Demmel buries that pitch in. Snyder will give it a look. It rattles around down there. The Giants passed along word within the last hour or so, we are told now through our production truck, that he is on his way to a nearby hospital for an examination.
I'm sure of it.
And they'll share word with us as soon as they find out.
I'm sure of it.
Let's hope the energetic utility player, the fine addition, is doing all right. Gets him right through that one. That is a strikeout. Valley Hyundai dealers sending us to the 7th inning stretch. Uribe sending his club into smiles all around the diamond. Stretch your dollars.
But, you know, that's the things that keep you in the game.
As a former catcher, can you watch the game objectively, or are you just focused in on Posey and Snyder tonight?
Pretty much focused in on Posey and Snyder. You know, I like the way they move. I like to be a little more quiet behind the plate. First inning, I think Snyder's a little noisy. Maybe tip the ball to Renteria inside, hit a double down the line. You know, things like that, they add up.
You'll be around for the postgame show. So will Joe Borowski.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to that, guys. We'll send it back to you behind the mask.
Thanks, guys. Joe, a little noisy behind the plate. What did Kelly mean by that? Stevens shoots that one. Fair ball. It'll be extra bases for Drew. On around. And a double. That was noisy. An extra base hit for Stephen Drew.
I think it was a different choice of words. It really didn't fit what he was talking about. He was talking about the way Snyder was moving around the plate. But
Got it.
I kind of disagree. I don't think he moved that far. He didn't come up with the blocks. He tried, got down.
We're surrounded by catchers tonight. Catchers in the set, catchers in the booth.
Yeah, sickening.
Here's Cole Gillespie. Now, speaking of catchers, we have spoken about the one that's working for the Giants. What do you think about his battery, mate? Your thoughts on the 20-year-old left-hander Bumgarner so far tonight?
He's been very impressive because he's a strike thrower. He's not afraid to throw strikes. And now that he's got a 6-run lead, he's going to keep throwing strikes. Not going to be trying to nip corners. He's going to try to make him hit the ball, let the gloves in the infield, not outfield make the play.
The 1-1. Fastball, you know, his 90, for whatever reason, and I think it's because he commands secondary stuff, but his 90 plays at about 95 to the hitter.
Well, he's got real good motion for one thing, and his control has been, I say, impeccable. Does he walk 2?
That is correct. Just 2 walks. That's what he's done in his big league career to this point. 2 walks per 9 innings. Rolls that one to the right side. Well, this is where I step aside because we now have 2 catchers live and on the air. Kelly, we were talking about the noisy behind the plate. What is it you meant by that?
Well, what happens is the hitter, you can feel the catcher moving back there. And it looked like Snyder came up and got in and kind of shuffled his feet. And as a hitter, you can hear that, you can feel that. You either have to be really noisy where you kind of pound your mitt, try to distract him that away, or you got to be really quiet where you kind of set up as you're giving a sign. That way you're already inner half part of the plate.
You got to have pretty good ears, Kelly, to hear a guy shuffle with his feet behind the plate.
You ask Gracie about the shadows at Wrigley Field during the day because I know you have to sit up late because he's looking down and he's going to see where you're setting up. So it's little things like that you have to watch for as a catcher.
You believe that a pitch is going to be made where the catcher's setting up all the time?
Well, I know you got to get there, get early when you give him a good target, but also you've got to watch your noise. I know these guys, especially having that open ear flap to you. They can hear you because I've talked to some guys that say, hey, I know this catcher moves loud.
Pitch is a breaking ball that stays high, 1-1 the count.
I just learned something.
See?
You got me. I never heard that expression,
Well, we have seen guys, for both of you, I've noticed it and we've talked about it before. Miguel Montero will give a, let's say, as that one is swung right through, he'll give Kelly and Joe a call for a fastball away. And as he gets ready to scoot out there, he'll take his left foot and stomp as if he's decoying to the inside. So you hear noise inside corner, then he'll scoot away. I've seen Montero do that a half dozen times.
Well, exactly. You got to do that to keep the hitters off. I mean, they're listening. You're doing anything you can to pick up tips, a location. Because obviously, if you hear noise in, I mean, it's pretty much one pitch going to be fastball in.
Hey, Kelly, do you listen to your radio and your CDs and DVDs as well as you listen to catchers?
No, just I listened to you, Joe, on Good Morning America a long time ago when I used to have hair and I used to blow dry it. That was my, that's how I woke up every morning.
You never did blow dry. You'd get blisters on that head, man. Come on.
Exactly.
2-2 the count to Abreu.
You talk about a grinder. That guy was a grinder. He was a grinder. He was a good one.
What do you think about that, Kelly, when Kirk Gibson saying earlier Mike Scioscia's the best he ever played with? What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, he just gave you everything he could behind the plate. He was, he owned home plate. You want to come to home plate, you got to go through him. That's what's so great about him.
It's an RBI and a fly ball out to right field. Kelly Stinnett joining us, and Abreu with a run batted in. What was your favorite part, Kelly, about your position, and what was your least favorite part?
Well, just getting to interact with all the pitchers. You were part of everything. You had to go to every meeting. You go to hitters meeting. You was a pitchers meeting. He was always communicating with the whole team. The worst part about it is like it's nice to have a guy like Jeff Matusas in the bullpen. My early years, as a backup catcher, where are you at? You're in the bullpen from the beginning of the game on, and that kind of took its toll on me.
Kelly Stinnett joining us. He'll be on the post-game show as well.
Hey, Kelly, I want to. Oh, okay.
Bam.
Have to show his resume first, Joe. Blocking it up, but continue on with your question.
Kelly, you were in on those meetings. Who took charge of the meetings and how were they? If you were, for example, you were going to talk about a hitter like Huff, who's been real hot, what would it be like? Would it be the manager? Would it be the pitching coach? Would it be the pitcher? Would it be the catcher?
Always the pitching coach took charge of the meetings, and obviously as a catcher, we always had our input, and then the bullpen coach kind of threw his little 2 cents in here and there. But it was mainly the pitching coach took control, said, hey, this is the guy, he's hot. Let's see if we can cool him down. Let's not let this guy beat us tonight.
Did you feel like you had to call the pitch, or would you only feel like you suggested it to the pitcher, and if he felt that he was in agreement with you, he would throw it?
I felt there's always a suggestion. You know, I want the pitcher to feel 100% comfortable with what he's throwing. You know, I don't want him to, you know, come to the dugout and second guess me. And that's a big part of the ball game too. Is you don't see that as much anymore.
Exactly.
As the pitcher catcher sitting by each other. You know, Schilling was unbelievable. He'd go write in your book. I'm like, what are you writing? Well, this is what we're going to do next inning. Okay, let's go do it. You know, that was great because you knew what you were going to do next inning.
Well, he cataloged every pitch. He spent a lot of money putting it in the computer in the database. He took it pretty seriously, but I mean, this idea that the catcher just makes the calls and the pitcher, Snyder was telling us, he has to execute the pitch that I call for.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you'll get, you know, you've had some managers say, hey, what'd you call a slider? Well, I didn't mean to call a slider down the middle of the plate. You know, I want one down the way, you either bounce it, they swing and miss. And that's part of the game where you kind of got to let it roll off your back like water, because you'll get second-guessed a lot.
Hey, listen, a ground ball goes through an infielder, there's an outfielder to catch it. It goes through his legs, the wall stops it. If the catcher lets the ball get through him, the manager's on the top step of the dugout.
Oh, exactly. You get no leeway.
You get nothing, man. You get chomped on.
Before we let Kelly Stinnett go, I want to ask you, because we've talked to Joe. He started playing as a very young man. Montero Snyder played as very, very young men. This man, Posey, started playing as a sophomore in college. When did you start playing?
Whenever I could walk. For 5 years old, they stuck me behind the plate. Only kid that could catch a ball on the team. And, you know, obviously it worked out the best for me.
So the young man catching for the Giants is a rarity then, isn't he?
Well, that's what I was thinking today. I mean, you don't see very many converted players into catchers. You'll see a catcher converted to third baseman or second baseman, or, you know, infielder converted to a pitcher, but you don't see anybody hardly converted into a catcher.
They put him at first base. That's the rest home.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest home. 1-2 the count. Thank you, Mr. Stinnett.
Hey, thanks, guys. Talk to you after the game.
Hey, Kelly, good luck.
Hey, thanks.
Breaking ball. Stayed on it as long as he could. Catchers in stereo there. There's catchers everywhere. I'm going to wake up thinking about catchers tonight.
You'll be a lot smarter.
Somehow I knew that's what you'd say.
No, you didn't know, because I didn't know I was
Well,
going to say
trust me, I was raised in a home by a starting pitcher who made it clear you respect the catcher.
Good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hit on the line. Does he hang on? You bet. Renteria is there to make the play for the out. Behind the mask tonight, Diamondback behind the 8 ball. Got to get it going a little bit more. Ball brought to you by Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. And that is a beautiful shot, isn't it, Joe?
Oh, man, how much would you pay if somebody told you you could see something like that? Isn't that a gorgeous shot? Crackerjack crew at it again. Nice going, guys.
Beautiful pictures, beautiful place in which we live, even on the warmer days and evenings. Miller Lite reminds us what's brewing tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Barry Enright's been fun to watch, and the young man that has jumped up from Double-A facing an ace in Tim Lincecum. Looking forward to that matchup.
He's got one of those expressions that he just left the party.
I think he feels that way. He's not been overwhelmed at all. I know you've probably caught him on TV and in person. He has really fit in nicely in the big leagues. He's pretty unflappable.
That's the way to be. Pitcher has to be. Short memory.
Chad Qualls works. 2-0 the count to Sandoval for Qualls. 41 appearances now. The ERA of just a tick under 8. It's been a tough year. A lot of hits allowed. Opponents hitting .364 against the one-time Diamondbacks closer. As that one sails outside. 3-0 the count. So that is ball 4. Sandoval draws the walk. Now, Sandoval could have been part of our catcher show because he's the guy that they talked about might be a catcher coming up through the system and do some work behind the plate for the Giants.
He's got a perfect build for a catcher.
They put him out there at third base. He does. He's got that
nice wide body.
Kind of built like Benji Molina, simply put, who used to be the catcher for the San Francisco Giants, where he was traded to Texas.
Love his shoes.
You like those, do you?
Yeah.
Very traditional.
Sure. I walked through the dugout and the kids were cleaning up the shoes. There must have been 20 pair of shoes, double shoes. I said, man, alive, that's a lot of shoes. The kid said, how many did you have when you played? 2. One when it rained so you wouldn't ruin your good ones. 2 pairs of shoes. I said, these guys get them for nothing, though. That's the difference.
Right back to the screen, talking about shoes. This is from the All-Star game. How about those shoes?
Oh.
Those orange shoes.
There they are. Batteries not included. Orange shoes.
Bouncing ball, charging. And
that's
just
all
a
he can do.
swinging butt. That's a base hit. Couple of runners on.
Oh, that runs you crazy when you're on defense and you got to let that ball roll and it won't roll foul. The other thing is to try to duck a pitch and it hits your bat and goes right back to the pitcher. Oh. He's got no chance.
He now has to play a bunt from Madison, who will continue to stay in here and work in this ball game. Bunts that one foul. Bumgarner, by the way, when you look back at that 07 draft, he was the 10th pick overall in 2007. David Price, Tampa, was number 1. And he was taken 1 pick behind Jared Parker of the Diamondbacks, who was the 9th pick overall. Jason Hayward, the 14th pick of the Atlanta Braves. So some familiar names in that draft. Boy, that's a good one. And in time for the out. Let's hear from Miguel Montero behind the mask about catching, about getting beat up, and about being a father as a catcher, too. Let's listen to this advice.
It's a tough position, and, obviously we get beat up really hard, and, squat down for 3 hours, it gets you a little tired, and especially not able to play the 7 days of the week because, it's a really tough position. But, it's funny because I was you know, my wife is pregnant right now. I'm like, well, if he's going to play baseball, he better find some other position than catcher, you know.
He got a lick in her, didn't he? Up being a family guy. Good for you, Miggy. Family first.
Well, son, here's a baseball. No, can't have this gear. Just leave that alone.
Give him a bat. Well, you know the old expression, you can shake a tree and 40 gloves will fall out. Rarely does a bat fall out of a tree. If you can hit, they'll play you.
Bouncing ball, it's a foul ball. An update on Eugenio Velez that was hit on that line foul that went into the San Francisco Giants dugout. He is still being evaluated. He is still at a local nearby hospital. And he is over at St. Joe's, we are told. He will stay overnight. He never lost consciousness. And given the circumstances, and I quote, he is doing okay, from a Giants official. Hang in there, partner. I'll tell you, the way he plays the game with his energy and the different positions.
It's a great hospital. He's going to get good care. That's where I went. I was there. Dr. Z, Zambransky was the doctor. I got enough dents in my head. Looked like I got caught in a bowling match. But I'm here.
And we love that.
Well,
we missed you last year.
It's a long year, Darren. Long year.
Infield in for the Diamondbacks. Bouncing ball, diving attempt. It gets by both of them and into right field. Well, right now, if you shake a tree, Andres Torres and his hits keep falling out of them. I mean, that's the kind of year he's having.
That ball's the outside part of the plate, able to pull it. And perfectly placed, of course. Both of them tried for it, neither one could come up with it.
From 02 to 09, Torres hit 232. 232. This year he's hitting 273 on base percentage, much higher, more extra base hits this year than he had in the previous 5 seasons. Isn't it amazing when a guy like the man out there at first base has his renaissance, has his finest hour after he's been in the game for about 6 years and struggled every year to stay around?
He's enjoying it, I know that.
Oh, good for him, right?
Right. Wish he'd do it in other cities.
No, I certainly wish that. He has knocked the Diamondbacks around all year. Edgar Renteria. Snyder was talking earlier about regretting calling pitches or wishing you can go out and grab the ball before it gets hit. And he mentioned by name the communications that he's had with this man, Chad Qualls, trying to stop things before they snowball. You ever used to go out and visit a pitcher and he'd tell you, get back in there, leave me alone?
Oh, are you kidding? What are you doing out here? What do you know about hitting? I don't know anything. Just out here. Manager wants to come out. Let me know when the umpire's coming. Do it for yourself. No, you do it. That's what you talk about. I used to wait when the umpire would come out to break it up. Tell me when he's about 4 steps from me. Make him walk all the way out there. The umpires, though, are good to catchers. They are. As soon as the catcher hits a foul tip, see what an umpire does. Does off the plate.
That's Mark Carlson.
Got the indicator, though. He's not depending on that big jumbotron out there.
The 2-2. threw his bat at the ball, and it's a foul ball. I mean, the way Chad's year has been going, that usually turns out to be a base hit against him.
Well, the pitch was on the outside part of the plate, low. It was a great pitch, and he throws the bat and he fouls it off. Watch what this pitch is. I mean, if he hits it with that bat, it's not going to go anywhere. The bat went farther than the ball. It went 60 feet 6 inches past the mound. Must be rabbit in the bat.
A little topper. Reynolds off balance made that play. A run scores. What's going on, by the way, on our State Farm out-of-town scoreboard? James Loney walked them all for the solo homer. That game on Fox today. Well, the Mets go back to their non-offensive ways and continue to lose, and they do so on a day in which Atlanta wins again. They beat up Florida. Brooks Conrad. Bobby Cox is quietly, he will tell you that's his favorite player to manage, is that man, Brooks Conrad, out of ASU. Eric Ibar. And he has done good work. The Angels on top of Texas. That's a strike. Baldo Jimenez got touched up, huh? Young man got knocked all over the ballpark in a 10-2 loss to Philadelphia. Who's that Phil's new hitting coach?
Greg Gross? No.
I think Gross is right.
I think Gross is.
Someone up from the minor leagues, yes. Anyway, no Alex Rodriguez home run to report either around Major League Baseball. Milt Thompson was the hitting coach. Huff in the left field. That one gets by, rolls by Gillespie. Aubrey Huff racing on around. And another run scored. Three runs in the inning. It's a single and an RBI and an error on the left fielder, Cole Gillespie.
Cole had that kind of knuckleball spin to it. Once it hit the ground, it just took off.
Greg Gross, the new hitting coach for the Phillies, by the way. You were right on the money.
Kind of a sudden time to release somebody.
Especially with that organization that all we've talked about for the Phillies for what, about 3 years is their hitting.
Yeah. Something behind the scenes. Here's your boy.
Buster Posey. We've heard from him a lot tonight. We've heard from him. We've heard from Miguel. I think we might need one more demo from you next half inning.
About what?
I just think you need to explain what happened to that great catcher's mitt that you had there with the hole in it all patched up. Will you do that next half inning?
Sure, I'll make something up.
That's what I thought. I think I wouldn't mind, as the count is 0-2. Again, just a quick demo on catching with two hands. I still think it's somewhat perplexing.
Why?
The way you did it, the way you involved the throwing hand, and how that had to come around the ball.
I had to.
Can I maybe throw a bullpen? Throw a few next half inning?
Oh, I don't need a glove for that. Catch you with a tweezer.
Snyder goes down and gets that one.
That was a good one. Didn't get the legs really closed tight, but he made a good play on that one.
1-2 the count. That one is in to Buster Posey. 2-2 the count. 3-2 the count. You know, it's interesting right there. The one-handed catch, which catchers all do.
He missed the ball.
You would have to, though, to catch it with two hands, shift your body in front of that one.
Absolutely. You almost did like a dance step, like blocking the ball. We used to have blocking the ball practice. Never forget it. Mr. Ricky was not a funny man, but he laid a funny line on me. Fred Haney was bouncing balls off my chest protector, and Mr. Ricky walked by, and he said to Haney, "How's he doing?" So they got a new glove for him. Great trade.
Three and two the count.
Great trade. I'm getting beat up. Oh, Mr. Ricky was special. So far ahead of his time.
Outside, ball four. Let's listen to Chris Snyder talking about his defense, something he certainly takes pride in.
I've always been a defense-first guy. And whatever I can do to get the pitcher through it, whatever I can do, if it's throwing somebody out late in a game or coming up big in big situations, bases loaded, one out, blocking balls in the dirt, stuff like that, no matter what point of the game it is, no matter what the score is, that's stuff that I take pride in.
So Chad Qualls is done, 10-2 the score. We'll step aside, reset the situation when we come back. Actually played at a new spring training facility that's right here in the Valley. You get a sneak peek at the completed project on Saturday, August 21st. The first 15,000 fans will get a 2011 spring training replica stadium keepsake. 602-462-4794 as Heilman has that one roll foul. Or log on to dbacks.com/giveaways. Well, I need one of those. We need to show it to the folks. A little mini stadium, Joe.
I tell you, that stadium is going up. I go by it every day. I mean, it's going to be something. Lights are up.
It's going up fast, isn't it?
Whoa! Like somebody poured hot water on the ground and up came the stadium.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Right there at the 101 and Indian Bend Road.
Oh, it's great.
One and one the count to Juan Uribe. Joe Garagiola joining us, Darren Sutton, and you. Trust that you've had a good week and good start to the weekend on this Saturday night. Thanks for inviting us into your home. Loves to swing that bat. 1-2. Hit a grand slam earlier in this ball game. Juan Uribe. Just got a piece of it.
He just swings that bat like it's a gate, back and forth and back and forth. He just base on balls. Who wants a base on balls? That's no fun.
Signed with the Rockies initially, did Uribe. That grand slam, he's got 13 home runs this year. Our APS Energy All-Star with the grand slam earlier in the ball game is Juan Uribe. That follow through took the barrel of the bat right into the dirt. 1-2 the count. He didn't offer it that one. 2-2.
Started to.
Grounded out. Popped up a couple of times. 10 hits and 3 home runs against the Diamondbacks this year. Well, he's got Tim Flannery not knowing which way to go. The man that played the game the right way in that third base coach's box. Real respected coach.
Well respected player. He's out of the coach's box now. As you say, he doesn't know where to go. Backing up. He may be in the dugout of the Diamondbacks in a minute.
So does the body feel it more as a catcher in a 10-2 deficit rather than in a 2-2 game?
Oh, yeah. The 2-2 game, you'll feel it when you get to bed. The tension. Now you're just back there. Let's get them out. Get the troops out of the hot sun.
Putting quite an at-bat on him. 9 pitches. The next one will be the 10th. Two and two. Over the top of a changeup. On the 10th pitch, he found himself over aggressive. I think when he was born, he found himself over aggressive. how do you get that fixed? Which catcher's mitt is that?
That's the one I used every day in '46. Used it in the World Series. That patch, I went to the shoemaker. I said, I got a hole in my glove, put a patch on it. And that's what they did. Now these guys, they put a glove on, use it for 2 games, and say it doesn't feel right, and they get a new one.
So a glove like that, a catcher's mitt like that, 2 hands.
Oh, everything was 2 hands.
Okay.
You had to shift. If you just flip me the ball,
Okay.
watch my right hand over it.
Always. So
Always.
your bare hand, sorry folks, I'm going to do that a little bit. Your bare hand was always in play?
Oh, absolutely.
Knocked him back there.
Yeah, you're too strong.
Really? So the hand would be on top of the
Well,
ball like
what
that.
you did, you put your thumb behind the 4 fingers and kept them very loose so that if the ball hit it, it would close your 4 fingers and you wouldn't break your finger. But instinctively, when the ball is thrown, you're going to reach out for it, and it's going to hit you because you caught the high ball this way and the low ball this way. And with Williams, when he broke my finger in the World Series, it was because it was a high curve ball, and I put my hand there, and he swung, fouled it off, and broke this finger.
2 hands.
And making the tag at home plate, you had the ball in your glove, and when you made the tag, you tagged them, but the ball, your hand was separated. So the glove came off because the hard slide, and they said, how could you hold the ball when it knocked the glove off? Never was in the glove.
Well, thank you. And thanks for bringing in some great pieces of your history.
Yeah, I may have them run a sale on this one.
Boy, that is wonderful. And it's interesting, and this is the It's Great to Be Me segment of the program. When I tell you how humbled and honored I am to hold a catcher's mitt, have someone hand me a catcher's mitt, you can see the numbers for Moda, and say, yeah, go ahead, you can try it on. And I'm speaking as if you're not here, Joe, by the way, to our viewers. Try it on. I caught with it in the 1946 World Series. I mean, you want to talk about an honor. So thanks for bringing all those in tonight. Talking a little bit more about equipment, like this great equipment up here, I would imagine more modern day. Jody Jackson, what do you have for us?
Well, I have actually, Jeff Machusis the bullpen catcher, uses a hockey mask type style for a catcher's mask. And it's really something that we've seen over the years, kind of trendy. It's kind of a look at this one. It's just plain black. It's not painted up or anything like that. But when I first started covering baseball in 1995, Greg Zahn used this with the Florida Marlins, and he would paint it up just like you see hockey goaltenders do. But and the pro to it is that you can see pretty well out of it. Peripheral vision is very good. Chris Snyder used to wear one for a brief time. Miguel Montero did as well. But the con is that because there is so much padding and so much plastic on the top, it absorbs, a foul tip or a backswing. It sort of absorbs that, and so it's not what you want as far as protection for your head for most guys. And Mike Matheny suffered from concussions during his career. He wore this type of mask, and so a lot of concern over possible head injuries with it, guys.
It's evolved a long way, obviously, Joe. The classic original mask with just the thick padding is what you had, and the thicker bars as well, right?
Right, just in the front. Of course, when we came out with the helmets in '52 at Pittsburgh, we had to wear it while catching, and I tell you, they had a big piece of foam rubber going around it, and by about the 6th inning on a hot day, a foul tip would hit, and you thought you were in monsoon season because it would just squeeze all that sweat out of there, and down it would come. But they've improved it. I'll tell you, I would have used that mask that Jody had.
The 1-2. What did we just lose there? His shoulder pad. There you go, Joe.
See that? Now, if he didn't have that on, now watch it go flying off. Just took it right off. And he felt that one, though, boys. He felt that one. You could see his eyes. He winced. Still want to be a catcher, huh, Butch? Or Buster? Charlie?
Not quite sure what his name is right now.
No. I'm going to get a new protector, man. That tells me something. Throwing arm, too.
The 1-2.
See, one-handed grab. Did you see that? Now, in my day, back when the Civil War was going on, you had a shift. He didn't shift. He shifted away from it and backhanded it. So it made him looser. You didn't have that pad that kind of tied him down.
I think the tentative nature and the way he went about going after that ball was tied into having one knocked off his shoulder and having that pad knocked off his shoulder.
He's looking around. He's thinking about maybe going to the infield.
Now, we've shown the hockey mask. We've shown the in-between mask, which you see a lot of the. And this is, I'm guessing, Joe, well before the masks that you use, but how similar is this to what you would have used?
Very similar.
Okay.
Very similar. This was a very important part right there, so you could see the peripheral vision. You didn't have it because this blocked it right there.
Roger Breshnahan wore the first mask ever. Well, that's a good visual right there, that mask.
How about going behind the plate without shin guards on? Breshnahan was the first guy to put shin guards on. When I was a kid, we used to use National Geographics. We borrowed them from the library. It's the truth.
Just taped them on?
Yeah, you just taped them on, and then when the time came to get the book back, you gave it back and took out 2 more. You don't believe that?
I'm looking at you. I'm trying to stare you out on this one.
No, don't stare. That's what we did.
Wow.
You couldn't go by. You ask your father, Pa, I want some shin guards. Can you wear them to church? No, you can't have them.
You've told me that story before.
Yeah, they are. Everything was on the church.
That one's belted deep right. LaRoche just got it. It's a 2-run homer. 10-4 is the score. '61 RBIs for Adam, 14 home runs on the year, and another Fulton Holmes homer, which means $150 to the Youth Assistance Foundation.
You know what the shame is? Kennedy's pitching effort is going to be forgotten.
I would agree. Kennedy went 6 2/3 left, allowing just 3 runs. Another run crossed the plate, courtesy of the bullpen. Charge to him, obviously. Roberto gave up a run. Demmel gave up 2. Qualls gave up 3. Snyder has a pitch sail outside. 1-1 the count. We're here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Diamondbacks down 6. The 1-1. 1-2 the count. Slider. It was a very good changeup. At one time, this man, the setup man for Eric Gagne in Los Angeles.
Right down the middle.
Let's listen to Chris Snyder leading into this at bat. He's mic'd up. Here's a moment ago.
After all that, now I get to come in and face 97 with sink and a nasty slider. So much fun.
Now you got that nasty slider. That's what ended the at bat.
Tell you having a bat like that, you'll go home thinking defense. That's the main thing, is defense.
Here's Stephen Drew. That's outside, 1-0. 1-1.
He's blowing it right by him, isn't he?
Steven tonight doubled, flown out a couple of times. The 1-2. High fly center field. That's an easy chance for Rowan. When we come back, a little bit more. We'll talk about Joe's good friend Yogi Berra.
I tell you, and all those Yogi Berra-isms are not true. I can tell you that. Somebody don't know who to hang it on, they'll hang it on the Yogi. He was our leader as a kid.
Really?
Yes, sir. I remember we were playing a soccer game one time. We couldn't beat this team, and he said, "You got to stop Ferrado." That was the guy. And we said, "What? He hasn't scored yet." No, but he's always got the ball before the guy that scores gets it. So we put a guy right next to him, and he didn't even move, and we beat him. And when New Zealand, the All-Star game, they had the meeting, they were going on, and Yogi finally said, "Hey, you guys are trying to do in 15 minutes what they ain't done in 15 years over there." Same thing. Very observant.
Out front. All right, so which ones do we give credit to Yogi on?
Don't give him credit for that first one. That was Jim Walford.
Okay.
The second one, I can tell you the origin of that one. That's one of his. It ain't over till it's over is one of his. Deja vu all over? No. Deja vu, he thinks it's a fungus. Are you kidding?
Okay. So text to 36929. According to Joe, then, just pick B or C. Let's go with the 100% true Yogi quotes, B or C. Text to 36929. If you come to a fork in the road, take it.
Oh, that was every Sunday. We go watch a soccer game at Sportsman's Park, and we got by Eastern Avenue, and he'd always go down the wrong way. And we'd get 2 blocks from there, and guys would say, "Watch him, watch him, watch him." And sure enough, he'd take it, and he'd say, "Well, I'll tell you next time. I come to that fork in the road, I'm taking it." Oh, he does say things that you walk away and you have to screw your head on a little tighter. You really do. I told you that one about the fire plug, didn't I?
You might have, but I don't know if you told all our viewers.
He was driving the car, and
He hits it was wintertime. He skids, hits the fire plug, got Old Faithful in the neighborhood. Water shooting 50 feet high. Cops, everybody's around, and now it's starting to settle down. I said, yo, what happened? The horn didn't work. I said, what'd you expect? You going to blow the horn and the fire plug's going to move? The horn didn't work.
How's he feeling, by the way? I know he missed the Old Timers game in New York.
Well, he's feeling pretty good. I didn't talk to him. I talked to Dave Kaplan, who runs a museum. Yogi was in the hospital. He's out now, but he took a hard fall. And his nose, his face was all scraped up, Dave said. And as I say, he's out of the hospital and coming along, but it's scary. Yogi's 85, you know. He's 9 months older than I am. It's scary. That's why when what's his name that got hit with the line drive, Valdez?
Yeah, Eugenio Velez, yes.
Velez. I'm glad he went to St. Joe's. They'll really take a good look at him. That head, boy.
Well, you were talking about the quotes that maybe were attributed to him and not. Maybe this is the most appropriate. Yogi Berra, and I quote, "I never said most of the things I said." That sums up what you're saying.
Right. They make them up.
Not only do they make them up, but what's great about Yogi, for me, from afar,
he doesn't.
That's right. He's smart enough not to deny him.
He doesn't deny him. He's got a cottage industry. What are you kidding?
I have the pleasure and thrill of having people recognize me. I like that. I don't like it when somebody's got to make a smart aleck remark, but then I live with that sometimes. I say sometimes because if I'm like, if I got a little heartburn and I don't feel good, I'm going to zing him right back.
In my own words, you bet it's big league. Look at that.
That was one of the better throws, too.
No choice but to make a one-handed attempt there.
Oh, it ended up in the fourth row.
That's a great picture. Tomorrow after the game on Fox Sports Arizona, Joe Garagiola, In My Own Words. So we were talking about the words of Yogi Berra. Some he takes credit for because he's a wise man, but they weren't originally his. You were talking about in our commercial break when he might go in a bit of a slump and be chasing some balls. Well,
he was hitting a lot of swinging a lot of bad pitches, and they said, why don't you wait for some strikes, hit some strikes. He looked right back and said, how could a guy that wild stay in the league? He wasn't going to blame himself. Positive thinking.
Batista goes to work and fires over the inside corner, 0-1 the count.
He's a beauty. He's a wonderful, wonderful, warm human being.
The 0-1. Slider just outside. Still birthday calls back and forth from you two?
Oh, yeah. He sings his birthday to me. That's a treat, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You're catching up to me. It's Yogi Berra. I couldn't believe it. I called him back because it was on the message. And I said, boy, am I glad you told me it was you, because I thought it was one of the 3 tenors. He's a beauty. I love him.
1-2 the count. Breaking ball misses away. 2-2 the count. Well, let's see. What do they like? They like it ain't over till it's over. That's what the fans are liking so far. I have to admit, I vote for fork in the road.
Oh, that 90% mental. That wasn't him. That was Jim Wolford. I tell you, when you talk about it, there's a book out about Yogi Berra. The guy writes that my father had a bocce court in the backyard, and he used to bury the money there instead of going to the bank. You talk about a blatant lie. I mean, my father, first of all, didn't have the money. We never had a bocce court. That guy writes it. Scotch tape writer, you know, goes and looks in the files and puts it down. Never called. I don't like that.
I don't blame you.
It's like, well, I'm not even going to get into the other one. I started to. No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
No, when it comes to the fork in the road, I'm taking it too.
You're taking it. Okay, fair enough. We're all family here. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
The 0-1. Parr takes a pitch away.
How tall is this pitcher?
I have him at about 6'7". We're going to double check.
Hope he's getting as much meal money as the rest of the guys. Boy, he is thin.
There's been some big fellas. I mean, when you go Bumgarner to Mota to this tall drink of water, you are running it out there. Denny Bautista standing 6 feet 5 inches tall. Now, I have him taller than that.
Let me tell you, when you bet against a guy like that, you always have the feeling you're hitting uphill, that he's pitching off a mountaintop.
Pay no attention to those numbers. He's much taller than that.
He gives you a lot of elbow, too, when he releases it.
The right-hander wheels and deals. What is that little hitch, as you said,
right,
as he turns? That's unique. I've never seen that. Guillermo Mota, who pitched before him, is 6'6". Of course, Madison Bumgarner, the fine rookie, is 6'5". Bumgarner, if you're just joining us, went 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, struck out 7, had a great out. ERA of 2.43. 97 miles an hour, that's strike 3.
Oh.
There you go, Joe.
That's what you're facing. Look at that elbow. Huh? And he gives you everything. Arms, legs, elbow, fingernails. He just threw it right by him.
An extra little cast to that lead elbow. Here's Chris Young. Slider, it's strike 1.
He's around that plate. Usually big, tall guys have a wild streak. He hasn't even come close to being wild.
Pops that one up, and into the seats it'll go. It's a souvenir. Arizona looking to avoid dropping to 10 and 28 within their own division.
It's no fun, man. I tell you, I was on a club like that. We lost 112 out of 154.
Goodness.
Every day was a chore going out there. But you thought you were going to win. But by the second inning, you were out of it.
No balls and 2 strikes to count. Want to thank the Diamondbacks for allowing us the access tonight. Chris Snyder for agreeing to wear a microphone. The 0-2. And that'll do it. Arizona manhandled by the San Francisco Giants. Madison Bumgarner, their catcher behind the plate, is battery mate. Buster Posey had a couple of hits, 3 for Aubrey Huff. Ian Kennedy, better than advertised, 6 2/3. Should have had a better result. Bullpen certainly struggled tonight. We'll talk more in our post-game show. We'll talk pitching, catching, a big night for the Giants.